Cool. So, how are the school holidays going for you? Because it's a juggle.
It is, but most of mine are grown up and left home now. I
Oh,
only have
that's
one
true.
left at home, and she's very independent, so it's not so
Yeah,
bad. But I do remember what it used to be like when I had all four at home, and yeah, it's a
yeah,
juggle
yeah.
indeed.
Certainly is. Certainly is. So I've got one kid's outside actually washing
Oh,
her dad's car
nice. I've never managed to get
so
one to do that.
for pocket money, obviously.
Right.
And the other one, he's sort of velcroed to the couch, so watching some Fast and Furious, some movie. So I mean, this time of year is a real challenge for a lot of households with family responsibilities, you know. So I think we can only do what we can do. So that's the first thing to say. And actually, what I find is because everybody's maybe just taking a slight step back, it allows everybody just a bit of time to maybe just look at their business, take a breath, have a bit of planning time. I've certainly done a bit of that over this particular summer holidays and get ready for what's coming
It's different
because
for us
obviously,
because we work globally. So,
yeah,
for example, South Africa's not having holidays now. The States aren't, the Philippines aren't, and so we're still busy because we've got other
mhm,
countries, we've got Australia. So it's tricky because if we're just working in the UK, then yes, everybody can be understanding of each other.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I've got quite a few clients that are based in the States, and their kids are on holiday just now as well. A
Oh,
lot of
that's handy.
women entrepreneurs, so we're all in it together.
That's handy. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And also just a really good moment to say starting to get ready for the conferences that are coming up for Women's Business Club. I've got an expert pod there, so I'm starting to pull together what I want to be saying, what it's going to look like. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes this time of year gives me a chance to just draw breath and look at the speaking gigs that I have between now and well over the next 6 months.
That's nice. Yeah.
Mm, mm. So today is our third session, and we've kind of I call this the taking the plunge, and the focus is on actually doing the pitch. So the first two sessions we really focused on what is your story, what is the problem that you're solving, making sure that you're getting quite pointy on what you'll be asking for in the money, and also how are you going to roll out that story. And since we last spoke, there was a couple of questions came up with you surrounding statistics, etc. So we're going to pull that in today as well. I want to just um, take maybe 15, 20 minutes to have a look at that. But as ever, I've put together a little bit of a slide deck here, which I'd like to just work through just to keep us on track. But also one of the bits of homework was for you to start to maybe pull together the first two or three slides. And you made a really what the people watching this don't know is you actually said, I have this particular slide deck about my business. Can I use some of that? And what I would say is the answer is absolutely. If you have some of this information already, absolutely pull it, and then you can tweak. It's always easier to tweak something than sometimes start completely fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
So
looking at the pitch deck. It was like a blank canvas. I'm like, I've already done this. I don't think I can start from scratch again. So
yeah,
it's handy
yeah.
to use what I've already put so much work into.
Yeah. But what I did notice is the thing that you sent through to me was very much a pitch deck about the business. What
Mm.
we're doing is we're trying to pull out the information for a pitch deck for funding for a particular element of development of that business. So I'm not sure if you saw an email, but I did send back and saying of all of the stuff that you sent through, could you move a couple of slides forward?
Yes, I
Because
did that. I rearranged them. Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant. So we can then maybe have a look and share that with people as well.
Okay.
So let me just pull up my um, slide deck that I would like to um, share with you. In fact, why don't we just, no, no, I'm going to pull that up. Sorry. Share. Slideshow. Current slide. So yeah, so there was a couple of things to pick up from last time. One of them was collating stats around failure rates and things. And what I need to say to everybody is it's really important that when you make claims around statistics, you absolutely have to back them up. Now, you can
Absolutely.
usually find any kind of statistic that will be able to back up what you're doing, but as long as you can reference it, that's the important bit here. So for you, a lot of what you're going on about failure rates of women-led businesses, it's quite a negative stat to be looking for, but this is how you summarize the problem that you are trying to solve. So I noticed in the slide deck that you'd sent through that there was one or two stats. Are you able to now go back and find some up-to-date statistics? Are they up to date, the ones that you've got?
Yeah, the ones
Where
in my
would you
pitch
find-
deck are up to date and they're referenced. So there's a footnote with the links to the reference.
Brilliant, brilliant, good. And then the second thing is, what is the one thing that you want the platform to do first that it doesn't currently do? And that's a really difficult one, because when we're thinking about the business and we're thinking about world domination, we want to do all of this, but it's really important to prioritize what is going to make the biggest impact first. So where did you get to with your thoughts on that?
Well, it's currently in development and we currently have a timeline with the order of priority. So it would make sense to keep working towards that.
Yeah.
So we've got the different phases and the different releases mapped out on a Gantt.
That's great. So what I would say then, it would be the right thing to then incorporate that plan into your funding ask, because it lets those that you're asking for funding that you have thought about this, you have a plan that's going to continue anyway, and then you link the ask to the particular part of the development plan that once we have this money, we will be able to complete phase 1 or phase 2. We're currently doing phase 1, but we're looking for funding for phase 2. So that's why it's important to really differentiate and really get quite pointy on what it is that A, you're asking for, and B, what you want the platform to do that it doesn't currently do, and link it to the money.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to just go back over what really needs to be in any asking deck, any pitch deck when you're looking for funding. Starting with the problem statement, and when we have a look at your pitch deck, you do come in straight with the problem. So what is the problem that is out there? And people, you have 18 minutes maximum to make an impact. Sometimes you might only have the first 5 minutes and then people might switch off in a room. You know what it's like. So you really got to come out with this is the problem and here is our solution. This is what's going on in the world and we have something for it. And then what is the market opportunity? Because let's think about this. You're asking for, if people were to ask you for 100,000, you'd be like, well, what for?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's going to solve this problem. And you're going to say, well, what's the market opportunity? Where's your research? And then the competitive advantage. Why are you better than what's out there already? How are you going to make your money back, the business model? How are you going to market this and sell it in order to fulfill the business model? Who is the team behind this? And that is incredibly important. And then the last thing is the ask and the milestones. And so that's where you go. So we're asking for 100,000, 250,000. And we would like the first 100,000 at this time so we can complete phase 1. We'd like the next 100,000 for phase 2 and the last 50,000 in order to take on a commercial director in order to roll out marketing and sales strategy. I mean, I'm just, making this up, but that's what I mean by milestones.
Makes sense, yeah.
It really is talking them through this, but you have very, very little time to take people through this. And in fact, when I've been to some pitching, sometimes, well, let me tell you, there's a competition in Scotland called Scottish Edge, and it's the winner gets £100,000, which is amazing.
Hmm.
They have to create a 3-minute pitch video.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, in which they really need to be covering a heck of a lot of this. You know, we have seen in the market there is this problem, and so we have come up with this solution. This solution has an opportunity of this, and we are different because we do that. We plan to make our money doing this and this, and the first way we're going to take it to market is this, this, and this. Our team is made up of Aileen and Angela, and they have all this experience. And so we are asking for £100,000, of which we will use it to deal with this, deal with this, deal with this. It's bash bosh. 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. It makes
So
so much sense, though. It makes so much sense because you can, a good investor or a good business person will be able to tell straight away if it's a good idea or not.
well, that's it. And also, the deck itself shouldn't be too wordy, etc., because actually, that's where the panel will then start to ask you questions. And you can have secondary decks if you want, or you can print out as much information as you like. But the deck itself should be the high level, very pointy, very articulate. This is the problem. This is what we're going to do with it. This is the market opportunity. This is why we're different. This is how we're going to make our money. This is how we're going to sell it. And this is the team behind it that is going to be able to make your money back.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I would like to then, with that in mind, go and have a look at the first 3 or 4 slides that you've put together. And we can show people what you've pulled together, and we'll maybe just, if there's 1 or 2 pointers.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to pull up this. I'm also going to shut the door. My daughter, as I said, is washing the car, so I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear she's putting the hose away and things.
We can't hear anything here. Don't worry about it.
Grand. Keeping it real, people, just keeping it real.
That's the only way.
So, yeah. Okay, so what I love about this is and I saw this. I'm quite a visual person, but actually, when you have a pitch deck and you are showing it to somebody, the first thing is it's a visual thing. And
You should refresh it before you go through it because I've updated it based on your email. Yeah.
Okay.
Just move the pages around that you said. Yeah, that's the latest version. I've underlined succeed. You know, the positive word.
Yes. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. So this is the pitch deck. This is the start. Now, as I said, comes from a pitch deck about your business and your proposition. So what I would say, the very first thing is on the front of a pitch deck, it's actually a women's business club. Yes, we're empowering. So making sure that it's, what you're working towards, what's very clear, who you are, etc. Then page 2. Oops, let's get this here. There we are. I really like this. So the problem is it's very clear. There's quite a bit of information on here, but I like the way that you have blocked it so that it's easy to read. And it's very, very important that there is enough words on here that is easy to read, but not enough that people are reading that and not listening to you. So I wouldn't put any more on this. And I'm sure there'll be another way to word this, but what I like about it is that the problem is 100 million businesses founded globally each year, 33% female founders, 9 out of 10 startups fail. The problem is actually there are 100 million businesses founded globally each year. It's just rallying this together. That's all. It's a presentation thing, and because the problem isn't 100 million businesses founded. The problem is that 9 out of 10 of them fail. So I would maybe just reword that slightly so it's a little bit more obvious.
Okay, if you refresh it now, does that subtle change make it better?
Let me just refresh. I mean, what you could say is you could always say of the 100 million businesses founded globally each year, or 33% of the 100 million businesses founded globally each year are female.
Yeah, maybe if you just
9 out of
if you
10
refresh
fail.
now, it should
I
hopefully
did
that should,
refresh.
it takes time, I think. There we go. I just
There we go.
added those
Yes.
little words. Does that tie it together, or is that too simple?
No, it does tie it together. It does tie it together. I think, you could go back and have a look at that. And, you, you know, I think 100 million businesses founded, of which 33% have female founders,
Say
of
and
which nine,
on which instead of which again I'll say and
yeah.
9 out of 10 businesses fail.
Mhm,
So it just kind of makes it more into a sentence.
mhm,
I
mhm.
don't know if that's suitable.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a presentation thing and it's a personal style thing. The as I say, the problem is that 9 out of 10 startups fail. Of the 100 million women-led businesses that are founded each year, 9 out of 10 fail in the startup period. And then why is that a problem? It's like, well, why is this? We would like to solve the problem of the fact that 9 out of 10 women-led businesses founded each year fail. Exactly. Why is there a problem? They have limited access to funding, they have limited skills and opportunity, and women disqualifying themselves. And I like how you put underneath, not enough women are pitching for funding and seeing the commercial value. I would even say it's not that they're not pitching for funding, they're not asking for enough when they do, because they do not see the commercial value of their business, or because in fact, I think they see the commercial value of their business, but what they don't see is the fact that they need to ask for more money. They're very much on let's do more with less.
Yes, yeah.
So it's actually more that
I'm
lack of
guilty
business
of the
training.
same as well.
Mhm. Yeah. So I really like this for, as I said, for it's easy to read. I would be really brave and bold in your statements. And even at the start there, so according to British Bank, female founders are missing out on billions in funding. Why? Because of the selection criteria. Because why? Why is it they're limited access? Because they don't know about it, or is it the selection? You see what I'm saying? So it's like backing up why this is a problem. The thing is, your switched on people will know that these are the challenges.
Yeah.
But still, it's about just making it really pointy. And the other thing is, I really like you've got, as you say, you've got it referenced down in the bottom left-hand corner, and you might just, and this is very, very picky, is you might just want to put a little symbol next to that first one, the British Bank, you might want to put an asterisk there and put an asterisk next to the one at the top, just to relate them. As I say, that's me getting really uber picky, but it just lets the people know that this is where this statistic has come from. But I love this as a starting point, really. I think it's great. And we spent so much time at the start going, yeah, but what is the problem you're trying to solve here? It has to be really, really articulate. Okay, fabulous. The solution, yeah. So we're on a mission to accelerate female-led businesses by increasing the success rate. Okay, how are you going to do that? So the solution is a platform-based community that will give access to opportunities to funding and training and skill share.
So maybe that should come in the solution, a platform-based community too, rather than a mission.
Yeah, the solution is that, or we are a platform-based community. So
I just wrote, I reworded that sentence to a platform-based community to accelerate female-led businesses by increasing the success rate.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that reads well. I'm sure if you refresh it, it will come up.
Yeah, we'll just give it a few moments. There we go. Yeah. And then underneath, you're explaining why that is the solution.
Mm.
And again, I wouldn't don't worry about being too flowery in language. Get really articulate, really pointy. Access to opportunities. Advocating with investors, organisation, and authority for increased female-led commercial opportunities. Again, it's just what does that mean? Tech in development for P2P lending, training and links with various avenues. So you could just say development of peer-to-peer, or just say just go straight to peer-to-peer lending, access to peer-to-peer lending, along with training and links to various avenues to access the funding. That's just as it is. It doesn't have to be. Write it as if it's already happened.
Yeah. Okay, so I've updated both of those to access to and access to. I'm going to take out also and put and. And I'll take out existing because we're writing as if it's existing.
Yeah.
So access to business success calculator and a vault of business resources, training and knowledge exchange to leverage expertise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Because this is the solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. And then the next bit, the target market. So this one's been sort of divided into two. So target market, then the next one's market opportunity. So who are you targeting? So we support small businesses and SME founders. So it's actually the target market is small business and SME female founders, not so much we support. It's just that's who it is for. And in fact, you could take that one line under and say our target market is solopreneurs with under 1 million turnover looking to grow to 5 million.
So,
again, what I would say is
doing the sentence below the heading target market. So
I would just take that out.
Small business and SME founders, or just take it out entirely?
Just take it out.
Okay. It's gone.
So and then where it says solopreneur with under looking to grow the team or looking to grow their revenue. So looking to
let's just say looking to grow. Let's just say looking to grow because it's both.
Female founded companies between 1 million to 50 million turnover. That's massive. But yes, and mid-level executives looking to secure board and leadership positions. Great. Let's just refresh this. Like you say, it just takes a wee minute or two, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's just
cleaner. Go all the way from the North Cotswolds all the way to Scotland, so it takes time to get there.
But you see, it's just cleaner.
Yes, I see that. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for you. Is just to make sure it's nice and clean. It still packs a punch. It hasn't taken away anything because I think you've almost focused it, So, yeah. And then the next slide, we'll stop after that one. Oops. The market size. Okay, so total addressable market, total available market. 1.6 trillion UK small businesses, 116 billion serviceable market, female-led businesses. Is that UK or?
I think this is UK based.
This is all UK based.
Let me just check. Yes, because the source is referenced in the bottom of the slide. And so the UK-based information, I could find that relatively easily, but to find it on a global scale was a lot harder to find. I haven't found this information like that basis.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even if we're just
So,
working with UK and starting with UK, and then our growth
mhm.
plans would be to go into other markets, this pitch deck should still work, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, you could say, we're focusing on the UK market, which is worth this. The global, the US market or the South African market or the Australian market is in fact worth around, and we would plan to move to that. But right
Yeah.
now we want to service, so that's why I'm saying your slides don't have to have every single word that you're going to say, but you do need to show and explain that you have thought about where you are and what your plan is.
Okay.
Has that been helpful just to
Yeah.
narrow it down?
Definitely, because it's
Okay, good.
so hard to look at it yourself. You like, I'm so familiar with this. Like, I'm
Mhm.
actually sick of it. I don't ever want to see it again. But and I haven't even pitched yet. It's just like 'cause
Yeah.
I've worked on it for such a long time, and
Mhm.
through a fine-tooth comb, and so it's always
Mhm.
really helpful to have somebody else from the outside just looking in and making those.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Grand. So let's go back to the actual today's session. So, oopsie. I've lost my cursor. Oh, it keeps. I do. Oh, there we are. Okay, right. So we just had a look at that. So that was your homework from the last time, having a look at the sort of first 3 slides of that. So hopefully anybody watching that has got a little bit more idea about how they can maybe go back and have a look at theirs. So 3 things. What I want to do today is I want to look at 3 things for when I call it taking the plunge, and that's when you're actually going to start pitching. And one is we've talked about that. We're going to look at why your story should be attention grabbing. There's one overlooked element that might scupper your chances, and I'm going to give you a really easy how you can get in touch with potential investors, and it's not how you think it is, which is why you'll be shocked. So, number one, the secret sauce. Number one, your story has to be attention grabbing. Now, we've talked about that. We had a whole session on it last time. If you are not compelling when you tell your story, when you don't get that epiphany moment, when you don't explain the problem and how you're going to solution it, they won't actually think about the rest. They need to hear you say, this is a game changer. And if you need to use the word game changer, then use it. The whole point is, we are going, this is the one time, and maybe this is where, and we've talked about this, some women, not all women, some women struggle to say, my solution is going to change the world.
Yeah.
Now, there's a whole psychology behind that. I'm not a mindset coach or anything, but what I will say is you are what you say you are. So if you think of yourself as being an international global businesswoman who's going to transform a whole entire sector, a whole entire industry, then you will. If you say to yourself, I've got this idea, and if I could just have a wee bit of money, I could maybe make it work.
Yeah. No one's going to buy into that.
No, exactly. And you highlighted that one of the reasons that women-led businesses don't necessarily succeed is that they either don't ask for funding. I said they don't ask for enough, or they don't see the commercial value, and that's why it's how it's presented. It's how it's presented. So this is the first thing here. So when you are preparing your pitch, when you're talking about it, even when you're putting together your slides, think about it being, why would anybody put money into it? And don't sit there going, oh, I don't know, why would anybody put money into it? No, why would people put money into it? Because this is the solution. that the world's waiting for.
So my struggle with that is I always just think in terms of numbers. Why would anybody put money into it? I need to be able to guarantee them X% return. That's the only thing I think that people will think. They don't really care what they're putting their money into, as long as they get whatever percent we agree return. Now that might not be true, but that's how I think people think, investors.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter if I'm selling a new brand of shoes for frogs. You know, if they know they're going to get the agreed upon return on investment, then they'll put their money in. And that's might not be the right way of thinking, but that's how I see things. So my challenge is, how do I get the numbers right so that they're accurate or as close as possible, so that I can with confidence say that I can give you agreed upon return on investment. So whatever percentage we agree. And so that's kind of where my barrier would be is, can I produce the numbers in a way that I believe in them? Because if I believe in it, I can sell anything I believe in. That's not ever an issue. But can I produce the numbers in a way that I believe in them?
Yeah.
And that for me is the challenge. Now, other people watching this, or other people who want to put together their pitch, they might not have that problem. They might have a different problem. They might not feel comfortable selling, and they might not be able to sell anything, even if they believe in it. Like everybody's going to have a different struggle. But for me, that's the one. I need to be able to prepare the numbers, present the numbers, knowing that I can deliver. And that for me is the most important thing.
Yeah. So I have a solution for that. And I'm going to come to that in a moment, because you're raising a really good point there. But what I will say is this comes back to what's going on in your head.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people, not just women, but one of the things that people do is they get in their own way, and they put up their own barriers and their own challenges, whether they're there or not. And so what I'm saying is, if you start by being incredibly enthusiastic and really compelling when you say, this is a problem that needs solving, you then have their attention to start with. And you're right. Essentially, they want to know, will I get my money back? Will I gain on my investment here?
Yeah.
The second thing is, now I've put here the product is almost secondary. Now, I know that flies in the face of me going, but Aileen, you've just said it has to be a compelling problem and solution. And the reason is they're looking at you, but they're also looking at the team to see whether or not they've got what it takes to run a company, to deal with the problems and the challenges as they arise. So when you are pitching, to answer your question there, is it's not just Angela that's asking for the money. Angela has a team of people.
Yeah.
Angela has people, whether that's outsourcing or in-house. You have people, you have the resource set up. So it's not just you. You might be project managing it, you might be supervising it, but there are other elements, and they're going to look at the team as a whole to see if they can develop on the numbers that you've said. So you're not on your own, is the one thing I would say. If you are on your own, then I would say pitching to investors isn't necessarily the right thing for your business at that time.
Yeah.
Because they will look at you as a solopreneur with nothing else to back it up and go, no.
Yeah, exactly.
They will say, go and get a team, put some skin in the game, prove your concept more, come back to us when you have a team that can help deliver. That would be my thoughts on it. And actually, if somebody came to me and asked for money, that's what I would be saying. Well, who's going to help you? Oh, I'm going to do it all myself. Don't think you are.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And you can ask for money just to hire people.
You can or you can't.
You can't. You can't say, can I have 100,000 so I can take on a salesperson? No. Can I have 100,000 so I can develop this product? And then, yes. And then you're sort of going, and what that will then do is I will then look to build the team out. That's different.
Yeah.
But it can't just be purely for staff, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So they're going to be looking at, so as I say, when you say, can I deliver on the numbers? It's can the team deliver on the numbers? And instantly that you do not feel alone in this. And when I say, can they deal with the problems and challenges they arise, the best pitch deck doesn't cover everything. So there's going to be bumps in the road, there's going to be challenges. What the investors want to know is, are you coachable? Are you uh, are you able to deal with bumps in the road? And how will you deal with them? What are your leadership skills like? What are your problem solving skills like? Are you good at putting your hand up and saying, do you know what? I actually have no clue what I'm doing with this bit, which is why I need you, the investor, and your team of experts as well.
Yeah.
Most investments will have, if you go through, if you go privately, that's differently, but if you go through an organization, they'll usually put in what's called an investment director, which is somebody that is there to help look after the money, and you have access to, sometimes they'll put somebody on your board, sometimes they will just have a non-exec director, sometimes they'll have an advisor that they insist is part of the deal, quite rightly so that you can then talk to them about your business challenges. And, you know, they just keep an eye on, and it keeps you accountable. You said you'd have 6 units sold in 6 months. You've only got 2. What's going on here?
Yes.
Number 3, the important one. How do you reach out to potential investors? Weirdly, it's not, do you want to fund me? I've got a really great idea. Do you want to fund me? It's actually, I'm working on this new venture. Can I have a meeting with you to discuss it and get your thoughts?
Yeah. Ask for advice before you ask for money.
That's it. When you ask for advice, you might actually get the money.
Yes, I've heard
When
that.
you ask for money, you'll get advice.
Yeah, it's so true.
Mm-hmm. So what I would say is that's your opening line, but of course it's about who you approach. And I would say, do your homework. It's not about, I'm just going to ask everybody and anybody. There are investors who specialize in technology platforms. There are investors who specialize in biotech, med tech. There are those that specialize in food and drink development. There are those that specialize in climate related solutions. So do your due diligence on them because they will sure as heck do their due diligence on you. And I think that comes back to the head thing as well. You are asking for money, but you're a business person. This is a business deal. So I'm working on this business venture. Can I have your thoughts on this? And then be open to the notes that you get.
Yes, yes, definitely.
And what might happen is the person you ask says, actually, this looks really interesting. And they might say, you know what, go away for 6 months, work on those 2 things I said, and then come back because I've got people that might be able to help you take this forward. Or they might go, this is really interesting. I've got people that I think you should speak to. Or they'll be very kind and go, I just don't think this has got legs. People would not invest in this. And it's always good to get that early doors.
Mm-hmm.
Today's session is just a little bit shorter in the sense that it's about how you then do it. So you've got about 18 minutes to present and take some questions and just kind of get their attention. But before you even get to that, how are you going to get in touch with people? So what would you want to know about an investor? What sort of thing would you want to know if you were looking for an investor?
A track record.
Yeah. Track record, who they've helped, what
Some
average amount.
testimonials.
Yeah. What's the average amount of money they
Success
give?
rate. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're looking for 500 and they don't get out of their bed for giving less than 1 million, then they're not the ones for you. Some investors only invest in million plus.
Yeah.
Is it, is this very early stage money, or is this, different types of investor give different types of money? Some give loan and financing. So we will lend you the 250,000, but you have to pay us back. That way you have 100% ownership, but then there's interest and there's repayments to be made. So it's what type of investor are they? What sort of money are they asking? Will they offer? Is it enough? Is it what sort of terms do they usually ask for? Do they want to put people on your board? How involved are they going to be?
Do you have a standard list of all these questions to ask as a cheat sheet?
I do have a cheat sheet, which I can get to you. I've also got a cheat sheet of the sort of things that as a business, you're going to want to know about your own business.
Yes,
So
that'd be really useful.
So it's not just about can I have 250K and this is how I'm going to get your money back as well. They're going to want to know, well, how much is each client worth? How much are you likely to get, if for every member, how long do they normally stay and therefore how much are they worth? So again, if the membership was £100 a year and they tend to stay for 5 years, then the lifetime value of that client, that member, is £500. If, on the other hand, they also go to a conference every year, which is worth another 50, then there's £750 is the lifetime value of your member. It's about knowing that sort of information as well.
Yeah.
Really know, how much are you going to grow? What is your percentage growth? Are you looking to, and remember right at the start, the very first session, if you have 1,000 members and you're looking to have 20% growth in the next year, that's great. What does that equate to money wise? And these are the sorts of things that you could talk to this person about. What sort of growth are they looking for? It's almost like an open book test. You could go in with your questions and say, what do investors look for this type of business?
That's a good idea.
What are your thoughts?
That's a good idea.
Do you have somebody in your circle that you could talk to?
Well, I am in talks with an investor at the moment. And all they were interested in is the numbers. How much will I get back, basically?
Okay. Okay, well, that's good. So but did they give any indication of what they would expect?
No, not yet. I don't think they are experienced investors. They're just a cash-rich restaurant chain owner. That's quite a tongue twister.
That is, yes, it is.
A cash-rich restaurant chain owner who wants to invest their money, but I don't think they're investors. And so they probably know less than me about what questions to ask. All they want to know is how much will they get back.
Yeah. It might be it might be worth looking to see if there are any syndicate around you, which is, so you get some organizations that represent that represent a group of investors, and it could be then that your restaurant chain owner could be part of a syndicate, and in which case there's kind of I suppose it's almost like a broker in between.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I would say for things for you to work on top of the pitch itself, is making sure you have your research, but is who is going to give the amount of money that you're looking for? That's the first thing. Who could you ask who has been involved in investments to run your idea by? Can I have your thoughts?
Yeah. I actually thought of somebody now that I can run the idea by. So they know me, I know them. So it will be like a safe space. It won't, when you do LinkedIn outreach, people will think, oh, here's another person looking for investment. But this is a person I know would give me really good advice, and they would be brutal. They would say it straight. Absolutely.
That's what I need. Go to somebody or ask somebody who they think might be up for giving you some feedback, so that it's really clear that it is a favor. You're only asking for maybe an hour of their time. Can I run these things by you? Can I get some feedback? What and then you sort of say, what would be the appetite for this? And they will be they will immediately say, well, What is your differentiator? How are you going to be different from all the other platforms that offer membership for women-led businesses? And that's why we spent all that time right at the start. What makes you different?
Yeah.
And it can be really difficult to sort of to articulate that, but it's so, so important. You need to be offering something different.
Absolutely.
So those are the three things that we've looked at. You've got a higher chance of success if you demonstrate super knowledge and the effect your solution will make. That the team is actually a primary consideration, and how you make contact with potential investors.
Yeah. Actually, I need to update the team on my pitch deck anyway. So yeah. Okay,
So
I know
as I say,
what I need to do next now.
yes, it's a shorter session today, but that's why it's much more about how you progress it. So you know what your homework is for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll check back in again. I'll check back in again. We've got a session in a couple of weeks. We'll get that in the diary, and we'll see how you're getting on and see if you need any help to tweak any of this. We'll do a quick Q&A.
Okay. Thanks. So yeah, you've got the link to the pitch deck now, so you can see it evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Take
Thanks
good
so
care.
much. All right. Bye.
Bye.